Welcome back to Instables, everyone. So we have breaking news. Again, very good news about possible peace talks. We have Russia-Ukraine peace talks having advancements to points where meeting between Putin and Zelensky is possible. Ukraine negotiators say this. So again, this is huge. We could possibly have a possible peacemaking deal, which could possibly have the market react to the upside. We could respect this level. I'm going to go over with you guys here on the SPY on the S&P 500. If we do get advancements and we do continue with these advancements, no negative news from these advancements come before market open tomorrow. Again, if there happens to be any of that news, of course, I will mention that in the Instables room. So we're going to keep this news in mind going into this week, but we also do have Fed minutes on Wednesday, so that very much could affect on exactly what kind of momentum we do have from Tuesday leading into Wednesday. And if we do have a negative reaction on Wednesday, we will be looking at exactly which level we do bounce off of and looking for a bounce back from there. But it would be interesting, again, if we had peace talks with Russia and Ukraine, and then we had a negative Fed minutes, where exactly we would head. I'm going to go over that with you guys here. Now, before we jump into this, if you guys do like this video, it does help the channel grow, and I do appreciate it very much. And hit subscribe if you want to see more chart updates on potential breakouts that I mention every single day throughout the week. And if you guys are day traders or you guys are looking for intraday perspective breakouts throughout the day, go to instables.com in the description below, and only for $15 a month, you guys will never miss a breakout alert today again. So let's jump into this one. So jumping into the daily chart, as we are having a decrease in buy pressure here on our MACD, and we still have our EMA lines above our MACD, showing us that we still are in consolidation mode, not necessarily having a major reaction to the downside, showing us that we are in a healthy pullback at this moment. Again, we could have a major continuation on down if, for example, these peace talks were to not continue to advance and we were to have a huge attack from Russia to Ukraine, then we could have a major continuation on down. So we're going to see exactly what the Feds have to say on Fed minutes on Wednesday. That could give us a major reaction to the downside, especially after a major continuation on up here in the market, especially if we do have negative news on Russia and Ukraine's peace talks on top of a negative Fed minutes, then we could have a continuation on down, testing our 50-day moving average. That would be at about 440. We did have a decrease in sell volume, showing us that we could be on a healthy pullback for a continuation up. So our leading indicator will be our 20-day moving average, looking to see if we can cross back over our 50 for a possible continuation and looking for that increase in buy volume with the follow through on this 20-day moving average crossing back over our 50 for a possible bounce here. That is what I'll be looking for a bounce. But as far as playing to the downside, I definitely would be careful. We had a major run. This is a sign of strength. So I definitely would be playing against it at this point in time. I would be waiting for more of a consolidation and a possible continuation on down if I was playing to the downside. But again, I definitely would be careful either playing to the upside or the downside this week, as we do have Fed minutes on Wednesday. However, I would say if we do continue to advance in peace talks, or there's nothing negative that comes of this peace talks, and we do have an increase in volume, then that would be a good intraday opportunity in my opinion, and that's what I would be looking for as far as a consistent play, because of course you don't want to swing into Fed minutes. So our two levels that I would be looking at for this week would be looking to see if we can hold 450, and if we could hold 450, then we could possibly continue on up. But we do have a next level down. Our smaller range here between 447.50 and 450 is going to be very key. So if we do drop down below 447.50, then we could possibly continue on down to 435. That would be to the downside if I was looking at which levels I would be playing to the downside. But as far as a bounce, we will be looking to see if we can hold these levels. If we can hold these levels and we can get our 20-day moving average to cross back over our 50, we break continue highs. Therefore, now we have higher lows and now higher highs, would give us a possible continuation and possibly testing all-time highs. But again, we do have a lot of news that is going to be coming out this week with peace talks and Fed minutes, so we're going to keep that in mind. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about something specific about the market, and this has to do with one saying, and I like the saying, you know, time in the market is better than time in the market. And a lot of times we talk about time in the market, right? Obviously, Instables, that's constantly what we're doing. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. And I believe that time in the market, of course, is higher percentage than timing the market. Of course, because it doesn't really take much effort, right? You just buy the dip, the market usually goes up. So you're going to think that it's higher percentage plays. I agree. But the thing is, if you would have bought into, for example, the first rate hike that we had with Powell, and we've mentioned a couple times here on the channel, and I'm not saying you should have listened to me. I'm really just saying if we were thinking about this and understand that the market usually buys into the first rate hike, like we had mentioned, there's about a 40-50% run on almost every single stock. So time in the market could be a higher percentage if it's a good opportunity, you know? So I think time in the market and timing the market is important. I think time in the market also very much helps you with understanding how exactly you would like time in the market. understanding momentum in the market and how exactly it moves and what it reacts to. For example, Fed minutes this week, if we have a smaller reaction to the downside, we hit 435, we continue on up, break continue highs. That's a lot of data to take. Keeping in mind, again, we fell to this large red candle previously when we were leading into Powell mentioning possible rate hikes. We continued on down to this level when we had Russia initially attack Ukraine. So keeping that momentum in mind, and then we did not break continual lows as we had Powell talking about our first rate hike. Again, we had a major reaction to the downside when we were leading into Powell talking about rate hikes. But look at how much lower we dropped, not even below again when Russia did attack Ukraine. We dropped lower, but not too much lower. We didn't react too much to the downside. So just keeping that in mind, we could easily bounce back, or we could easily continue on down if Russia were to attack Ukraine and they happen to do a major chemical attack or something along the lines of that. But just keeping our indicators in mind, again, if we do break into newer lows, newer highs, there's not a lot that people can say about time in the market. If there's a good understanding on how exactly that momentum moves in the market and you play into it and you're playing smart, then that's higher percentage plays in time in the market. Of course, you would have to watch the market all the time, and that's what we do in the Insta Room. Obviously, I mentioned any news that is worth looking at. I just wanted to encourage you guys. I know the market's discouraging. I know that a lot of people talk about, should I buy this bigger dip or should I buy the lower dip? Sometimes there's a lot of money to be made just within a move, because you understood that when people talk about war, they didn't nuke Ukraine. They just initiated war. So we had a major pullback, but if you had known that there was buy volume coming out after a major amount of sell volume, and it was a lot higher than previous sell volume points, then we could have expected at least a bounce here. There's a lot of momentum and profitability to be taken here. There's a lot of stocks that we're looking at that had the lowest dip at this point. Again, that's a very good play. If you had known that when war is initiated and there's no major attack that affects the whole economy quite yet, then we could have expected a bounce here, right? So again, just paying attention to exactly how the market looks, how the market moves, and just watching our indicators here. Again, looking for a 20 to cross back over a 50. We could easily have a bounce here, or if we do continue on down, we'll look for those levels around 435 to continue on down from as far as confirmation to the downside. So just watching our levels, letting the plays come to us. And intraday, again, we mentioned intraday perspective breakouts every single day in the Insta Room, major breakouts like LGBN. And again, like I said, if you are a day trader or you are looking for intraday perspective breakouts throughout the day, you have to watch your charts. If you don't watch your charts, then definitely do not join. But I do want you guys to, benefit from this. This is why only $15 a month. That's why I do this. It's because I honestly want you guys to be the best you can. One of the things I didn't like about learning when I first did is that a lot of people really didn't want you to get better. I want everybody to be better. That's how I am, So I love you guys. Join Instables if you want to. If you don't, I love everybody that is in the room. Of course, as always, I appreciate everybody that has been supporting the channel. We will continue to go at it. We will be watching for this Ukraine and Russia news and what happens going into Wednesday on Fed minutes. And again, if you guys do like this video, it does help with your finance and it does help the channel grow. And I do appreciate it very much. And again, God bless you all. And I'll see you guys in pre-market.